Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also rise to ask the members of this chamber to reject the Vitale amendment. Mr. Speaker, the bill, Senate Bill 279, as it came out of the Environmental Resources and Energy Committee, is really a bipartisan agreement. It's an agreement to correct issues that we've been dealing with for the last 4 years, issues that are very important for the conventional industry. You know, I come from one of the areas of the state, one of the most rural areas that are home to the headwaters of what's called the Triple Divide, the beginning of the Allegheny River, the beginning of the Susquehanna, and the beginning of the Genesee. You can stand on a farm in northern Potter County at the point where all three of those watersheds meet. And we have some of the highest quality watersheds and streams in all of Pennsylvania. But you know what? We also have some of the most conventional wells in Pennsylvania. Wells that have been highly regulated for decades. And then, with the passage of Act 13, the Department of Environmental Protection decided they're not going to update regulations just for unconventional. They're going to take on a whole new set of regulations for conventional also, against the intent of the General Assembly. Then, as the chairman stated previously, we passed Act 126 of 2014, requiring separate regulations because they are truly separate industries. DEP ignored that will of the legislature and created a Chapter 78 and a Chapter 78A, merely a clerical change instead of truly separating the regulations, and again, ignoring the will of the legislature. In addition, the Department of Environmental Protection pushed on, violating several portions of the Regulatory Review Act, including the requirements for regulatory analysis forms, the small business requirement, 2 boards that serve to advise the Department of Environmental Protection, the TAB board and also the COJAC board that, as I said, advise the department on these issues, both expressed concerns with regulations that DEP was pushing forward with. Well, DEP ignored both of their advisory boards. Furthermore, the regulations went to ERC. And even though the regulations violated the Regulatory Review Act, ERC still approved them. So this is a situation where the elected representatives of the people have to decide on regulations and whether the law is being followed, not the bureaucrats at the Department of Environmental Protection. We have an opportunity to pass this bill to halt these unlawful regulations, to keep the existing regulations that have highly regulated the industry for decades in place, and require DEP to start over. If they want to start over with regulations that are applicable to the conventional industry, they need to do it separately from the unconventional industry, and they need to do it with input from people who actually work in the industry, and that's why this bill will create the Penn Grade Crude Advisory Council. So this is important legislation. It's a truly bipartisan effort, and I ask that you defeat this amendment so that we can move forward with the passage of this very important bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.